Welcome to the Swac Zone, a show that's dedicated to the ins, the outs, the ups, and the downs of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. If it's good, we'll talk about it. If it's bad, we'll talk about it. If it's happening, we'll talk about it. The Swac Zone, only on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Let us join this week's episode.
This is Benjamin Edwards. I'm part of the Open Mic Network. I wanted to give PV Nation some updates on the evening of the National Signing Day, just as a review or a refresher from yesterday. This year's Panthers football schedule 2023 came out, and it is this. The 2023 football schedule is we open up with Texas Southern on September the 2nd. Then we play at Abilene Christian University. That game will be played at Prairie View A&M. We traveled this year to Dallas 2 times, so the first time will be on September the 16th. We're going to play SMU in Dallas. And then we go on to Mississippi, and we play Alcorn State University. We go back to Dallas, and we play in the State Fair Classic against Grambling State. That game will be September the 3rd. And we will come back home and play Mississippi Valley on October the 7th. We have another home game. I take that back. We travel to Houston. The team used to be, I think, Houston Baptist University. Now it is Houston Christian University, so we'll travel down to Houston, and we'll play them on October the 14th. Then we take a nice little flight. We play Florida A&M in Florida, Tallahassee on October the 28th. Will be Florida A&M's homecoming, so I'm sure that'll be a good competitive game. And then we'll have a long flight back, and that following week we'll play Arkansas Pine Bluff at Prairie View on November the 4th, which will be our homecoming. So there will be 2 different homecoming games that Prairie View will be involved in within the first back-to-back weekend. The next game will be Southern University, so we'll go back to Baton Rouge, where we'll be playing against Gucci. That game is November the 11th. And then we end out the year on November the 18th, where we play Alabama State back at the Hill. Yesterday, the coaching staff, Coach Butler and some of his coordinators, gave us a little tidbit on who have already committed. As of right now, they have a Caden Bowers, offensive lineman from Mesquite High School. We have Mr. O'Hare, Jaheim O'Hare. He's an offensive lineman. He is from Cypresswood High School. We have Freddie Bird. He's a defensive back from Woodville, Mississippi. And then we have a Trayvon James. He's a defensive back from Baton Rouge. They were really high up on this young man right here on yesterday evening. We have a Jalen Robertson. He's a 6'3" tight end, Gladewater, Texas. And then we have Javon Jackson. He's a linebacker from Katy, Texas, Cypress Spring High School. One of the guys that they were really excited about was a Khalid Johnson. He's a transfer from Mississippi Valley. He's from Mississippi. And then we have a Traylon Porche, wide receiver, 6'5", from Beaumont, Texas. Then we have a Mr. Alexander. I think it says Tavon Alexander. He's a D-line. He is from Alexandria, Louisiana. On yesterday evening, before the session started, National Signing Day, they got a surprise pickup from a wide receiver from Alabama A&M. His name is Brian Jenkins. Those are, as of right now, the commits for the signing period of February the 1st. Coach Bubba said that he wasn't too worried. He felt like he was still going to be able to get at least 2 more defensive backs, 2 more offensive linemen, and 2 more defensive linemen. I didn't mention, and I don't see it on my paperwork, so I do apologize, we did pick up a kicker. The kicker we had from last year, he left, so we do have a new kicker that will be coming to Prairie View. If I get that information, I will provide that to the audience at a later time. That is Benjamin Edwards on the Open Mic Network. Y'all have a good one.
We
are the station designed with you in mind. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, where we are serving the community through faith and athletics since 2002. We are located in Prairie View, Texas, where we are dedicated to serving the local community with sporting events, church services, and information. You're invited to tune in and to join us each Sunday morning for Temple of Refuge Ministries live broadcast, Building the Kingdom One Soul at a Time, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Time. Each Monday through Friday, tune in to hear the Mike Prince Show as he covers the world of HBCU sports and beyond. This show has been the driving force for daily information when it comes to HBCU athletics. And tune in to listen to the Swac Zone each Saturday mornings. The Open Mic Broadcast Network covers Little League, high school, and college athletics. We also broadcast local community parades and events. And you can check us out on YouTube for our latest content. If you would like to help us support our broadcast, you may do so by making a donation at www.obnradio.com. We are the station designed with you in mind. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, where we are serving the community through faith and athletics since 2002.
Hello and welcome back to the Swac Zone, the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. As customary, we are more than happy to introduce us on the presenter others, the guru himself, the godfather of basketball, and let me say the godfather of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, none other than Coach Van Pettaway. How you doing today, Coach?
I am doing fantastic. It's another great day that the Lord has given us, and I'm just happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you here, sir, and I'm happy to be on the land with you, sir. So with all that being said, let us take advantage of this opportunity that we have. My Panthers looking good on both sides of the hardwood. A lot of things speculating in the air. So, sir, I'm going to give you the floor and let you take it away.
Right. Well, it was another great week of SWAC basketball, and we're going to start on the women's side. There was a big showdown with Grambling and Jackson State down in Grambling, Louisiana on last Saturday. And Jackson State won that game 67-52. Once again, showing their dominance, winning a big one at Grambling State. And then let's journey on down to Arkansas Pine Bluff, where Arkansas Pine Bluff played host to Mississippi Valley, and they won that game 69-55. And then over to Baton Rouge, you had Southern playing host to Alcorn State. And Southern won that game 65-62, another big-time game of top teams in the SWAC. Then we're going over to Daytona Beach, where Bethune-Cookman played host to Alabama State, and they won that game 69-66. And on down to Florida A&M in Tallahassee, Florida A&M played host to my Bulldogs, and they bit an upset. Florida A&M beat the Bulldogs 69-67, and then that leads us to the big rival game out in Texas, where Texas Southern played host to your Prairie View Panthers, and your Panthers did what they had to do, and they won that game 60-54. And I know that was a big win for you.
It was an absolutely huge win. I was happy. As they say, I was happy as a kid on Christmas Day with a tree full of presents, right? But it was a very good game. They went back and forth for a little while as rival games would go. But what I'm really excited about, Coach, the Panthers were able to win this game with two of their starters missing in the lineup, some injury hiccups. And Coach Pugh got the young ladies playing on point and playing some exciting brand of basketball. And looking forward to starting this second half off against Bethune this weekend.
Well, yep, that'll be one of our good matchups. All right, and then on Monday, Grambling State played host to Alcorn State. Alcorn State won that game 58-52. And down in Baton Rouge, you had the great Southern Jaguars hosting number one, Jackson State. Jackson State went in there and won that game 64-57. And down in Florida, at Tallahassee, Florida A&M hosted Alabama State. Alabama State came out on top 77-68. And a game that that bothered me the most, we down at Daytona Beach, Bethune-Cookman beat my Lady Bulldogs 55-46. So the state of Florida was not kind at all to my Bulldogs.
Well, I know you're not going to hear me complaining because the state of Alabama wasn't kind to my Panthers. So we got to get some balance somewhere, right?
Yes. And after Monday night, the slate looks like this. Jackson State is still on top with an 81 record, and then the log jam at 6-3. You have Alabama State, Southern, Prairie View, Alabama A&M, and Bethune-Cookman. It's going to be a tight race for second place, the way it looks now, on the women's side. So what say ye?
Well, I say, isn't that what we play the games for, and it's the excitement that we look for? You don't want to see just a dead runaway, unless it's your team is with the dead runaway, right? But You always want to have everybody compete and do their things, and you just hope that everyone can stay healthy for the most part, and you continue to see some great brand basketball being played.
Right, and that, I mean, with everybody being 6-3, with that many teams being there, this is going to be one heck of a race down the stretch on the women's side, and that's what makes SWAC basketball so special.
No doubt about it. I was speaking with Coach Pugh after the win against Texas Southern. She says she wants to be in that top 4 spot because she likes that positioning of the seed. Now, what's always unique, at least to me, that toughest round usually is that 4 versus 5 in that tournament play because they're so close. So I would like to see us end up maybe the 3.
Right. Yeah, you want to stay away from that number 5 because record-wise and most of the time ability-wise, those teams are so close. So you're right. And now, as we look on the men's side, it was another good weekend for basketball, and we're going to start off down at Grambling. They played host to Jackson State's men. Grambling won that game 78-66, and then we'll journey down to Pine Bluff, where Arkansas Pine Bluff played host to Mississippi Valley, and they won that game 88-72. And then, of course, down at Southern played host to Alcorn State. They won that game 80-68 over Alcorn State. Then we moved down to the state of Florida, where Bethune-Cookman played host to Alabama State. They won that game 64-62. And down at Tallahassee, Florida A&M played host to my Bulldogs. The Bulldogs were able to win that game 61-56. And then back in Texas, where the big Texas shootout between Texas Southern played host to your Prairie View Panthers, and you all won that game going away 89-74. And I know you had to be feeling good.
Well, yes and no, Coach. It took 2 overtimes to get that win, and I'm glad that we got the final product. But man, what a nail biter going back and forth. Of course, as we mentioned, rival games are always like this. Prairie View jumped out to an 11-0 lead at one point. Then they gave up a 17-point swing at the end of the first half, and then they tied it back up in mid part of the second half, and then the final shot to send it in overtime. I'm like, oh, my goodness, here we go again. Alcorn all over again, right? But, man, come that second overtime, that old PV train got to bitten up some steam and pull it away, Coach. And I heard it go, woo, woo. And there we go. And so what a great game. Outstanding crowd. Almost 8,000 people in attendance of that game. It was truly an electric atmosphere.
Yep, and I had an opportunity to watch the stream from Texas Southern, and that was a great atmosphere. Great atmosphere.
Yes, sir.
And then that leads us to Monday, Well, on Monday night, down in Baton Rouge, Southern played host to Jackson State. Southern men won that game 73-62. Then on over to Grambling. Grambling played host to Alcorn. Alcorn came on top 63-60. And that was a big game for both teams, but Alcorn State won that game. And then over to the state of Florida, FAMU played host to Alabama State, and they won that game 69-58. And then down at Daytona Beach, Bethune-Cookman took care of my Bulldogs 88-77. Very disappointing game. I got an opportunity to watch that game on their feed, and we just did not play well. We made too many mistakes, too many turnovers, and Bethune-Cookman, they're playing better basketball right now, and they won that basketball game.
Well, it's always tough going on the road, and when you look at the distress that Bethune-Cookman is playing under, because we know Reggie Theus is the athletic director and all the stuff that's been swirling around the last couple of weeks or so, to have them focus and concentrate on playing some good ball, you got to speak a lot, I guess, to him staying focused.
Right. And then so after Monday, the standings look like this. Southern University has the lead. They're leading the conference with an 81 mark. Then Alcorn State is in second by themselves at 7-2. And then Grambling and Arkansas Pine Bluff, the surprise team, they're both at 6-3. So they're the top four teams on the men's side, with Jackson State hovering in that fifth spot. And then Bethune-Cookman and Prairie View are 6 and 7, and then Alabama A&M is in that 8th spot. So we got a lot of great basketball ahead. I'm looking forward to this upcoming week. I think that the race they're making a turn, and the race is going to be heating up. And we got some great games on Saturday. One of the big ones would be with Southern and Grambling making the Alabama tour. And we got some good games where your Panthers will be playing host to Bethune-Cookman. And I think that's going to be a very interesting game.
Yes, sir, on both sides, on the men and the women's side. Yeah, it's going to be a good game. But the one that really has me a bit nervous, and I don't know why, but it's something about FAMU, and I don't want us to look past them for some reason. Mm-hmm. But you got to play the games, and that's why we do play the game. That's why we love sports, because you can never tell what will happen on any given game day.
Right. And then I'll tell you another intriguing game on the men's side. Arkansas Pine Bluff going down to the reservation to play Alcorn. The Pine Bluff men are playing well, and I think that's going to be a big game. Big game.
Well, Coach, we call you the guru for a reason. You were watching Pine Bluff in particular when they took on Southern, and they were doing their thing. And now Pine Bluff going to the reservation. We know that they're playing some inspiring basketball at this time. It's close to baseball season, Coach. That's why I'm talking about that, getting tongue-tied. And when we look at the body of work that we've done, we know that the portal has been their friend. And we've got to make mention, this is a new coaching staff this year. So how does that interject the energy that you're seeing from Pine Bluff?
Well, I just think they've done an amazing job, and I think you hit the nail on the head. The portal has been the difference. They've got some kids in there now that are playing together, and they're surprising some people because no one picked Pine Bluff to be this good this early. And they're playing some inspired basketball. But we will see now that they got to get out on that road. We'll see how they handle the reservation, and that'll say a lot about this race going down the stretch.
Yes, sir. When you look at the Pine Bluff teams of the past, they're not strangers to getting that first half jump start, if you would. but then
Right.
it's almost like wait for it,
Yeah.
and something on the backside, whether it be to injuries or just mishaps, that the wheels seem to get wobbly as they get down the stretch.
Right. But they're hoping for a different outcome this time around, and we look forward to these games this weekend.
No doubt about it. Well, as the games are brewing, there are other things brewing throughout the conference. And what we do here at the Swac Zone, we try to cover the good, the bad, the ugly. If it needs to be discussed, we take honor in not being ashamed of discussing it. And the latest thing on the circuit right now, Coach, is that there's a huge lawsuit that is being administered, I should guess, or laid out on the table between HBCU League Pass and the Southwestern Athletic Conference. What are you understanding, and how are you feeling about this whole process?
Well, I just hate that it's out there, because I thought that the SWAC was headed in the right direction, and on the surface it looks like we were doing everything the right way. So I'm still trying to pick up the pieces on it. I'm not sure about all the particulars, and I just hope that they can get this resolved, because I'm confused when you say HBCU league. I thought that had something to do with HBCU Go, and so it's confusing to me and a lot of people.
Well, I can tell you what little I do know and understand, and let me say that the views and the expressions of this are solely of Mike Prince, not of Coach Pettaway, and we want to tell it just the way we understand it from what we've gathered. Houston League Pass have went into an agreement with Grambling State and FAMU in regards of having some exclusive broadcasting rights. And there was some type of a discrepancy when they reached out to certain potential sponsors to back up those games that were already tied up with the Southwestern Athletic Conference, which triggered, I guess, the antennas of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and they put somewhat of a blockage, if you would, saying that the universities did not have full autonomy to set their own separate deals, which, you had in the past with ESPN and now with HBCU Go TV. So in retrospect, HBCU League Pass has filed a $250 million lawsuit for potential revenues lost and this, that, and the other, and whatever else comes under that to try to get to the bottom line of this. Now, how far will this go? Will it go anywhere? It remains to be seen. $250 million, that's a large ticket item, but normally when you have a number that astronomically high, it seems like that would bring negotiation wiggle room. So I don't know where we are, Coach, but $250 million, all I did was did a double spin and a double take. I almost did a backwards no-hand flip on that.
Wow, and I'm saying if our rights are worth $250 million, man, we've been we've been just scratching the surface, man. We've lost something somewhere.
It makes me think of an old Bugs Bunny singing, "We're in the money," So that's what just I understand of it right now. But of course, we try to keep our ears to the ground, eyes open, head on a swivel as story develops. So it's all somewhat like a Wild Wild West, if you would, because for so long we've had rights that have been underappreciated, undervalued, in my own personal opinion, on how ESPN has offered very little funding, I thought, for our product. Then HBCU Go comes in to somewhat up the ante, but then I think this was as the conference was working out a deal with HBCU Go, HBCU League Pass kind of set their own tables with two storied franchises, in particular that of Grambling and FAMU. And you have to think that for the most part, that deal was centered around football. So you kind of figure it out and try to ride the wave on this thing. But it's confusing. What's confusing to me, Coach, we got so many HBCU labels. You got HBCU League Pass, HBCU Game Day, HBCU Go TV, HBCU Sports. And, like, if you're not familiar on the outside looking in, you would be confused to, like, well, what's what and who's who.
Right, and that's me. That's me. I was confused. I had no idea that we had all those entities. It's very, and if it's confusing to me, and I've been a part of the SWAC, I can see how it could also be very confusing to the general public. So I just hope the best. I want the SWAC to come out of this looking well, and then if we find out that our value is that kind of money, we can go back to the negotiating tables and get a better deal with the people who we already have contracts with. Quick,
fast, and in a hurry, sir. In a hurry. You're $250 million. That's some serious coin, Coach.
Oh yes.
That's some serious coin. So if I had a crystal ball, and let's say this thing did come to fruition, there would have to be some type of settlement. Because let's be honest, $250 million, there would be no more Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Oh yeah.
We would collapse literally overnight. So hopefully,
but I'm sure we got insurance. I'm quite sure we've got insurance or something that would take
$250 million worth of insurance, though. I'm just asking, Coach. I'm just asking.
Yeah,
that's a lot of coin.
Yeah. Settlement is in the works.
Yeah, that's a lot of coin, Coach.
Yeah,
$250 million. $250,000. Yeah, man, we let's talk. $250 million American dollars, Coach. That's a lot of coin. A lot of coin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we hate to see it, but you know what? That's the part of doing business. That's a part of growth. That's the part of accepting that your brand is expanding, whether it be good or bad. So with all that being said, we'll keep our eyes, toes, fingers, and everything that we can, cross legs, that this thing does come out for a win-win, and maybe they can work out some type of exclusive third-party tier deal for them with broadcast. Who knows, Coach? Who knows? I'm going to let them handle the big boy numbers. We're going to do the reporting, and you're going to root for them Bulldogs. I'm going to root for them Panthers.
There you go.
But collectively, we're going to root for the conference.
There we go. That's what we do best. We root for our respective program, but at the same time, we're promoting our SWAC. There we go.
There you go, sir. There you go. And I don't know about you, Coach, but I am SWAC.
Oh, yes, I am. Definitely.
Yes, sir. Coach, look, we come to the conclusion of another segment. It's always a blast. We got to give you time, sir, to get your spin, and the floor is now yours.
Well, once again, Dr. Prince, and today's session, even proves that you got to get the word out. You're doing an awesome job, and I hope you continue to be blessed with the work that you're doing, and keep up the good work, and stay encouraged is the most important thing. Stay encouraged and keep getting the message out there, sir. We really appreciate it.
We will do, sir. I thank you for the kind words, and we're going to keep grinding as if there's no tomorrow. We don't take anything for granted. We don't take you for granted. We don't take our listeners for granted, because it's all about us trying to do the very best with what we have. I have an old saying, Coach, I might not be the best, but when I do my best, God is pleased. And with that being said, he is the guru of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Remind you that you can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Our website, obnradio.com. And in case you have one of those smart devices, all you have to do is say, hey, play the latest episode of The Mike Prince Show. And just like that, you'll have everything that you need. So until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.
A Rocket Movers and Storage, located at 3354 Yellowstone Boulevard, Houston, Texas. Be sure to contact James Woods at 713-5 545-0658. If you're looking for movers, a place to store your items, or if you need both, our good fellas at A Rocket Movers and Storage can get you a 2-for-1. So head on down there now. That's A Rocket Movers and Storage, and let them know that the Open Mic Broadcast Network sent you. Also, be sure to listen to the Mike Prince Show daily by subscribing to our YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. The Mike Prince Show, dissecting Prairie View athletics and all news and updates surrounding the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And again, you can check out the show daily by subscribing to our YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the station designed with you in mind.
It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. We are so fortunate to have on the line with us right now none other than head basketball coach of the Panthers of Prairie View on the women's side, Coach Sandy Pugh. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing wonderful, Mike. How are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Let me first say congratulations on the big win over the past weekend. You're 6-3 in conference play at the midway point. If you could, now we had the game on, but for those who might not have had a chance to listen to it live or the rebroadcast, give us a recap on how things were developing from your vantage point.
Well, we're a little banged up right now. We went out to Alabama, 5-1, tied for first place, and lost a couple of kids in the process. And now the Saturday game, off that game in overtime, game that we just failed to close out at the free throw line. Then we went over to Monday without 2 starters, and then one was hobbling. So we really struggled to kind of bring it together to get the bench kids to understanding clearly they're next man up, next guy up, we got to go. But thought the kids stayed focused, came in, got back to it at practice and to get ready for the Texas Southern game. Then I found out my starting point guard was not going to be able to play. So fortunately, we had time to get the other kids ready to go, and I thought they went in and did a wonderful job for sharing the basketball, competing on every play. Even when things weren't going good for us, they stayed the course and fought hard as Panthers, and I was really proud of the effort. Kennedy Paul ended the game. I think she had game high points. Really coming into her own. Jessica Soders, a local kid here, was phenomenal defensively against their best player. Diana really struggled from the field, but defensively she did a great job on the great kid. So I was really proud overall of everything that I saw from the kids, from their interactions, their defensive effort, rebounding the ball, getting out in transition, making plays for each other. Just all in all, our caption for that game was 1 PV, and we had a picture of all the kids we're hugging, and and to me that spoke volumes, because that was where we were. We were circling the wagons, comforting each other in hopes that can carry over, energy-wise into that game, and it did.
Well, Coach, not trying to count my chickens before they hatch or anything like that, but when you're building a season that is headed in the direction that you are right now at this midway point, doesn't it always seem like it's something along these lines where a couple of players go down and a couple of hidden gems rise out the dust from this, and it starts to carry the journey and the mission of the team down the road as people start to find their true identities or where they fit on this particular squad? Would you see this as one of those defining moments?
Yeah, and you know what? I was talking to the kids after the game, and I was telling them, this is what competition is about. Sometimes we tend, as young people, we listen to a lot of outside noise about what we're not getting or what we're supposed to have, and we can lean into that what I call discomfort, but what they think is comfort, but we tend to lean in that direction. And this was one of those games where those kids didn't do that. Every one of them really, held hands, and we held hands before every game, and we squeeze each other's hands, and we say that's our heartbeat going around the room. So I really thought in this game we had one heartbeat, even with our injured kids. Kids who play limited minutes, some kids have never played, in the last 4 or 5 games, and they were still on that bench just screaming at the top of their lungs and supportive and cheering. And that's what competition is about. My coaches used to always say, when you're not competing, cheer for somebody else. And I say that to my kids all the time. It's important that, you learn what this is about. It's competition, yes, but it's about cheering and learning, and all of this builds character. So, I like to say I have a lot of character kids, and I do. And they're great people, they're great students, they're great representatives of this fine institution. And we're just fortunate to have them, and even more fortunate that when, the Lewis kid went down, the Thornton kid couldn't go, and the Hurd kid couldn't go, that we had kids ready, willing, and able to step up and step in those shoes and be a part of those moments. So I was just really, really pleased overall. I was also pleased with the fan support, seeing the cheerleaders there and all of the dancers passed by waving, hey, Coach, they're all just wonderful, wonderful kids, and having them there was huge, and I want to thank the administration and for getting them there, and the SGA for providing that opportunity for those kids to be there, and it paid dividends. Our men sent that thing to overtime, and we're able to come back after being down 13, 14 points. So, we're just so appreciative of what we're seeing from our PVAMU family.
No doubt about it. And let me say this, as they say, no harm intended, but you definitely got a scrappy group. And they don't quit. They keep fighting regardless of what the circumstances are looking like, what the scoreboard and the clock is looking like. And I'm telling you where I learned a lot from this year's squad. Yes, Texas Southern was a huge win, a needed win. But really from the 2 losses in Alabama. No, we didn't have everything lined up like we want to, but I saw fight. I heard fight. I felt fight. And it carried over to the Texas Southern game. You got through this first half of the season, 6-3. You got Bethune-Cookman coming in. We know the cloud. They're coming on in, what's been going on. We won't even touch on that right now. We're going to focus on the basketball. So you got to be feeling good about where you are at this point of the season. And I know the message is telling the young ladies just to stay focused and keep driving.
Oh, most definitely. You sit here 6-3. Of course, everybody wants to be, 9-0. I mean, I'm sure every team in the league would like to be there, but we're on the right path. I think that if we can get our kids back and continue to grow, the brand of basketball is fun. It's exciting, but more importantly, it's moving parts where I don't have to say, oh, I need you just for this. It flows. So any kid on that bench can come in and play any position. So that makes it a lot easier for them to flow in. But, there's a mental aspect that goes along with that physical. So kids have to have the knowledge, the understanding, but more important, the confidence to be able to do what they do. And it's always pleasant when they are feeding off the energy from not just their teammates and coaches, but from the fan base and from other student bodies that came out to support them. So all of that works. We played this Saturday at 3 p.m. against a very good and greatly improved over last year Bethune-Cookman team. They're coming in. They play today, so they're coming in at 5-3 right now. So they're right there on our heels. So we need everyone to come out and support these young ladies and cheer them on. Let's go get this thing. After that, we have Bethune-Cookman and we have FAMU on Monday. We got to get this homestand, and then, of course, we got to go to Houston East in play. So we got to go over there. So that's next up.
Yes, ma'am. So I know you're fired up, and I was just thinking while you was talking, Coach, and I don't think I've ever asked you as many times we had you on this show, and I'm about to put you on the spot right now. What type of ritual or habit do you have game day as you get prepared mentally and physically? What are some of the routine that must have done? Do you have any set ways or superstitions?
You know what? I really don't. I'm more of, as I've gotten older now, when you're a younger coach, you tend to, you're building up that energy. You're trying to narrow your focus. You do all these things that you've heard coaches do. I've heard coaches say, oh, I go get a massage. I go get my nails done. I'm more simple. I'll sit there and watch a Western. Or,
oh, my goodness.
Or take a nap, or, get a shower, a hot shower. I'm very simple in everything I do. I'm very simple. So I don't do a lot of that. I talk to the staff. I might sit and watch more clips just so I can keep in my head our game plan and make sure that I didn't miss anything in terms of the executions that we want to, employ in my rotations, that type of thing. But just very simple. I don't do a lot of all that extra stuff anymore. I've been at it over 30 years, Mike. It's different on this side.
Yeah, I do understand. Look, I'm all for those naps. I take a nap anytime I can get one. But I'm a little curious right now. Who's your favorite Western hero that you like to watch?
Oh, my goodness. The Duke. I'm a John Wayne fan.
Oh, why did I know you was going to say that?
I'm a fan, man. Audie Murphy. You name them. I've seen them all. I'm a huge fan. Wells Fargo series. That's my latest thing I've been watching. So I'm just a huge fan of the Westerns and the simple life. And, it was good and bad, black and white. It was a simple time. So I like simplicity more.
I do understand. Well, Coach, I'm going to say this. Simply keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on keeping on and keep the engine, as they say, on high. As she heard her mention that the Panthers will be back in action on Saturday, February the 4th. Tip-off time will be at 3 p.m. And, of course, you can listen live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network with the one and only Jeanette J.J. Jackson, as she's been doing her thing at the Open Mic. And, Coach, you would be awfully proud of the young lady and the energy that she's bringing on the broadcast, the knowledge that she brings, and the pure passion. I think if you could, Coach, get away with it, she might give you 5-10 minutes a night.
Hey, and I sure take it. Hey, JJ is a game changer. That's my baby, man. And she is a game changer. Whatever she puts her mind to, she will be great at it. And getting you hiring her was a coup. I'm telling you, that just shows your level of brilliance right there, Mike. Because I'm gonna tell you what, that baby is something special, and I'm hearing wonderful things about that broadcast and her. It's always good when we can get our alums back on campus doing things, supporting our teams and events. That's what you want to see, and that's what we need wholeheartedly. So kudos to JJ. Proud of you, baby girl. You keep doing what you do.
Well, she's doing her thing, and we're going to give her all the light she needs to shine, baby, because it's still about producing productive people. Look, I'm a little long in the tooth, Coach, so it's time for me to start grooming and passing down the torch, and I have no problem with that at all. I appreciate you so much for making yourself available. I'm going to give you some closing thoughts and comments as we get ready to wrap this segment up.
Hey, come out and support these ladies. You won't be disappointed. They're going to play hard. They're going to get up and down the court. They're going to shoot that 3-ball. And they're going to keep you guys, they might keep you pinned in your seats, but, they're fighters and they're winners, and we're going to try to bring this thing back.
Sounds like a plan. Coach Sandy Pugh of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, right now in the number 4 spot. That's good enough to get into the dance of the Southwestern Athletic Conference Tournament, which will be in Birmingham. I got my druthers on that, but that's a whole other story. But be sure to check the Panthers out Saturday, 3 p.m., February the 4th. You can listen on the Open Mic Broadcast Network at obnradio.com. Click on the Listen Live button, and don't miss any of the action that the Panthers are going to bring. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Thank you guys so much for joining in on this segment.
We are the station designed with you in mind. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, where we are serving the community through faith and athletics since 2002. We are located in Prairie View, Texas, where we are dedicated to serving the local community with sporting events, church services, and information. You're invited to tune in and to join us each Sunday morning for Temple of Refuge Ministries live broadcast, Building the Kingdom One Soul at a Time, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Time. Each Monday through Friday, tune in to hear the Mike Prince Show as he covers the world of HBCU sports and beyond. This show has become the driving force for daily information when it comes to HBCU athletics since 2002. And tune in to listen to the Swac Zone each Saturday mornings. The Open Mic Broadcast Network covers Little League, high school, and college athletics. We also broadcast local community parades and events. And you can check us out on YouTube for our latest content. If you would like to help us support our broadcast, you may do so by making a donation at www.obnradio.com. We are the station designed with you in mind. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, where we are serving the community through faith and athletics since 2002.